All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Joining us now is our friend Congressman Paul Brown, Republican from the great state of Georgia, also an MD and a member of the Tea Party Caucus. Congressman, welcome back.
Steve, it's always a great blessing and pleasure to be with you and your listeners.
I want to start maybe at the end here, and I want to acknowledge this up front. You ran, unfortunately unsuccessfully, for the Senate seat in Georgia, and in doing so had to relinquish the claim to your House seat. So you're only going to be in the House for this lame duck session, and then you're out. And I think that's terrible because you're such an important voice, and I have confidence that you'll certainly hook up somewhere to keep to give outlet to your passion, right?
Well, my passion, Steve, is to stay in this fight. Both political parties have created a government that's just totally out of control. Both political parties have created a debt that's unsustainable, spending money that we don't have. We're headed to an economic collapse of this nation, and I'm looking for an opportunity so I can stay in that fight to stop what both political parties have been doing here in Washington. It's absolutely critical that the American people rise up and demand a different kind of governance than we have today, and it just has to stop. And a good example is this juggernaut that Harry Reid and John Boehner put together to try to allow amnesty, this illegal, unconstitutional amnesty program of Barack Obama's.
Right, and you're talking about the funding of it in this lame duck session, and
right.
and isn't it a fact that if Boehner allows this to go through, if however he does it, they fund it, and it starts up in any way, shape, or form, that it's almost impossible, and it will increase I mean, it would be impossible for Boehner to then come forward in the next session and say, okay, well, we're not going to fund it anymore. Then everyone could legitimately say, well, wait a minute. You started it. Why'd you start it if now you're going to pull the rug out from under it? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, Steve. And not only are we going to give work permits to roughly 5 million illegal aliens here in this country that have broken multiple federal laws, they just and they're criminals. All of them are criminals, and we're going to give them the reward of breaking the law by giving them work permits and giving them legal status here. And what that's going to do is it's going to create more breaking of the laws, because those who don't qualify under the president's parameters are going to fraudulently claim that they do qualify. So you're going to have a whole lot more fraud that is going to occur. Plus, the government bureaucrats are going to say, well, we'll go ahead and give you the green card, even though they're not going to check into it, because we have tried over and over again to try to have verification of legal status, and the Democrats have blocked that. And the administration certainly is not going to put any kind of verification, whether the documents are actual or whether they're fraudulent. Plus, I think it's going to open up a flood of more illegal aliens coming in this country.
Absolutely.
On top of that,
it's a neon sign. It's absolutely a neon sign. Come on in.
Here, break our laws,
yeah.
and we'll reward you by giving you a work permit.
You know, and before we get to what it does for the minority communities, on employment-wise, and even with the incentive to hire illegals under the Obamacare loophole there, Louis Gohmert was on earlier, and he told us that this bill, that he voted no on this bill. This symbolic bill, criticizing the president's executive order, because he said even this is watered down. He said originally it was a bill that he co-sponsored with someone, and it got watered down to what it is now, which is, a symbolic bill. So he's not even voting for it.
Well, in fact, I know there's an effort by several organizations here in Washington, conservative organizations, to get members to vote against the Yoho bill. And all it is, it won't matter whether we vote yes or no, because all it is just trying to pacify conservatives who want to see this amnesty program of the president's stopped. And it's nothing but a pacifier, a pablum to try to get us to shut up. But I'm not going to shut up. I'm going to continue to fight. What we should be doing, Steve, is we should be passing a very short-term continuing resolution. And by short term, I'm talking about just the end of January, 2 months, and that's it. That in that continuing resolution, it limits the federal government, limits the president from going ahead and
implementing.
Implementing the. Thank you. Implementing the president's illegal, unconstitutional amnesty program, and that's what we should be passing instead of this Cromnibus, CR omnibus bill. And I'm saddened by this whole thing. Boehner and Harry Reid have already got the fix in. In fact, we were told even at RSC by one of the RSC members who basically he's part of the leadership and
the Republican steering committee.
And he's a Republican, and he said that Harry Reid has already agreed to what Boehner's doing, which means it's bad.
Yeah, that absolutely. I mean, here you're in a position with the upper hand, and now you're negotiating with Harry Reid. Quickly on this.
Let me say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
See, Boehner's acting as if we lost the election.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, November the 4th, the American people stood up and said we don't want this anymore, and gave the reins to the Republicans. And Boehner's acting as if we lost the election.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. It really is.
Why should we be negotiating with Harry Reid and with Barbara Mikulski on funding? We need to have a short-term CR, a very short-term one, 2 months. That's it. Defund the amnesty program, and if Harry Reid wants to shut down the government, let him shut it down, as he did in October of last year. It was actually Harry Reid that shut the government down.
Absolutely, but it was Boehner who came out and blamed Ted Cruz for making him. John Boehner shut down the government, which was the most ridiculously absurd thing I've ever heard a man in his position say. But, Congressman, hey, we'll speak again, I'm sure of that. I'm sure we'll have all your contacts even when you're out of that office in Washington.
Absolutely. People can contact me at paul@paulbrown.com.
Paul@paulbrown.com, spelled
right.
B-R-O-U-N.
That's right.
All right, Congressman, take care and have a Merry Christmas.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kiran Patel, and I'm a pain management physician and anesthesiologist. It's important to know how to safely discard of unneeded prescription medication. You want to follow any specific disposal instructions on the prescription drug labeling or the patient information that accompanies the medication. If no disposal instructions are given on the prescription drug labeling and no take-back programs are available in your area, here are some simple steps that you can follow. Remove medication from any original containers and mix them with undesirable substance. Place the mixture in a sealable bag, empty can, or other container to prevent the drug from leaking out or breakage of a garbage bag. Some other important considerations to keep in mind is that before throwing out a medicine container, scratch out all identifying information on the prescription label to make it unreadable. And when in doubt about proper disposal, talk to your physician or pharmacist.